Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Welcome back to Harry's Highlights. On this video, we're going to be talking about the book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. But we're going to be focusing on the third law, the law of process. This is about understanding that leadership develops daily, it doesn't develop in a day. See, leadership is like investing. It's something that compounds. Too many people think that it's something that you're just born with or you just acquire immediately. It's not like that. It's something like a sharp sword. You have to grind, or an axe or blade of some kind. You have to grind away and develop it and mold it and sharpen it over time. It's not something you just acquire. See, you have to continually invest in your leadership development, letting your assets compound, and the results will come over time. So much as like that, I was talking about that blade there, it's something that it's like, you might start off with the potential. You've got all this, you've got this rock, and it's got all this potential. Potential to become something great. Potential to become this great blade. If you think of some of the great blades in history, things like, Excalibur and, these awesome swords and things like that, they didn't always start out that way. They were developed, they were built, they were grinded and polished away over time, just like any great leader. They were something that was, when you talk about that compounding effect and how it happens, it's something that was continually invested in, daily, every day, putting more effort and time into it. Whether it be chipping away, whether it be grinding away, but polishing it ever to its more and more finer point. That's the way that leadership happens. The exact same thing. See, when you look at a person's daily agendas, their passions, their disciplines, their abilities, priorities and relationships, you'll know who that person is and what they're becoming. See, when you look at what's happening to that hunk of rock as it's being chipped away, you can see how it's going to become a blade as it takes more and more shape. Just as that person, as you watch what their daily agenda is, you can see them taking shape and understand what it is they're about, what they're becoming. See, who that person is, what they're becoming, it's all part of their ability to lead is all shown in their daily insignificant tasks and things that they put their time into. If they focus on certain areas more than others, you can sort of work out there might be a weakness for them. It might be something that they're trying to improve on. And you can see, based on the topics that they choose to focus on, what their goal is, what their mindset is about. And any sort of great leader will focus on certain areas of communication and of courage and all these different parts and facets of leadership. See, because that's all leadership is. It's a collection of skills. It's, nearly any and all of them can be learned and improved, so leaders truly are made and developed. Sure, there's plenty of people that, might be born with more leadership potential or even some natural gifts, and they might be more so than others, but that doesn't mean they're automatically a leader. It's something that you have to, it's different for everybody, but you have to work at it at some point. Some people might get it, in shorter time than others. But it is something that develops over time. It's not ever something that happens straight away. And when you look at certain things and aspects of leaders, what distinguishes leaders from followers is leaders have the capacity to develop and improve their skills. Leaders are learners. Followers don't always have that capacity. They lack that ability to continually improve themselves and work on themselves and build on themselves and repair and polish certain areas. That's what distinguishes a leader from a follower. Someone who's constantly striving for more, personal growth. When you look at understanding how learning is a process, it's something that's ongoing. It's a result of, self-discipline and perseverance. That you will, your daily goal must be to get a little bit better, to build on the progress from the day before. Always constantly striving for a little bit more, taking one step in front of the other. The problem is that most people, they look at leadership as something that sort of just happens based on a certain something. They might overestimate for example, they overestimate the importance of an event. A lot of people believe that once you go to an event, all of a sudden you're going to come back and you're going to be, you're going to be a leader. And a lot of times, a lot of people underestimate the power of process. So too often people look for a quick fix. They say, I need to learn leadership skills, I'll go to this event and I'll be a leader. But it's not that simple. Too many people want the results of years of compounding, or the effect of those years of compounding in minutes. Something that took years and years to develop and work out and become and grow. People want that to happen, straight away. And it's not that microwave society or microwave mentality is part of the problem, where people sort of overestimate some things and underestimate others. Events are extremely valuable, don't get me wrong, they're a great catalyst. They're basically the spark that starts the fire. They get that, they create that inspiration. But the process is the logs that keep that fire burning. The process is where you can draw your fuel from, something that keeps you growing, keeps the intensity of the fire, or the heat of that fire growing. So that process is, too many people underestimate it. Too many people think that that quick catalyst is something that they all should be focusing on, when there's more to it. That process, that leadership is something that's developed over time, and it keeps continually growing. And when you break it down, there's different phases. There's really like 5 main phases when it comes to leadership and leadership growth. The first one is really, it starts out as that you don't know what you don't know. So there is no growth because you don't know what you need to work on. You're not even aware that you're not growing. You're not even aware that it's something that you need to focus on. So too many people, they don't even think of themselves as leaders when they realize that leadership is all about influence. So too many people think that, even focusing on leadership, you have to be a leader in the first place, which isn't true. Because every leader is made, not born. Some people just have inherent gifts. So too many people make that mistake, so they don't focus on, so you don't know what you don't know, there's no growth. But the people that do, a lot of people are in that phase. The second phase is, I know that I need to know. So you recognize that to become a leader, I need to learn more, I need to know more. I need to be able to grow and learn and understand more about myself, to grow and become more of what I am. So when you need to learn basically how to lead. It's different to be able, like when people are put in charge, is not the same as when people are able to lead, are able to influence. It's not the same. It's different when you're appointed something. The third phase there is, I know what I don't know. So it's about understanding, like, here's my strengths, here's my weaknesses. Now I know these are the areas I need to focus on. So it's about creating that personal plan for growth. The next step after that is, I know, I grow, and it starts to show. See, this is when you can recognize your lack of skill in those areas that you're working on, and you can begin the daily discipline of personal growth, and that is when exciting things start to happen. Because now you're not only have you identified them, you're working on them, and you're realizing the process that you need to go through to really see the results. Here's where you can you can be pretty effective, because you've got a pretty good feel of everything, of your strengths, of your weaknesses, of where you're going. It's probably going to take you how long. You have a bit of an estimate of how long it's going to take for your weaknesses to become a little bit more competent. But you still have to think about each move. Things aren't automatic or instinctual anymore, which is where phase 5 comes in. Now, phase 5 leaders is called, I simply go because of what I know. Now, this is your ability to lead is now almost automatic. It's instinctual. It's where you just, without even explaining it, you do things. It's like almost reactionary. Like you're on autopilot. So there's not as much thought going into your decisions because you're so much more refined. But to get here, you have to obey the law of process, and you have to pay the price, which takes a lot of effort and consistency and persistence over time. They say, it talks about, like, with the law of process, it's about understanding to lead tomorrow, you have to learn today. There's a great saying. It says that champions don't become champions in the ring, they're merely recognized there. It's all the work that they did behind closed doors. You're rewarded in public for the things you practice in private. So all of those leadership skills you develop, all the law of process is all about understanding how you're grinding away at all those weaknesses, maximizing your strengths. One day when you become, when it's shown and you're recognized for it, people might think it all happened overnight, but it was a law of process. It was something that took time. You don't become a great leader overnight. It truly is perseverance and consistency. It's the law of process. So to quickly summarize, The law of process is understanding how leadership is something that develops daily, not in a day. It's a process. It's something that takes time. It's a system that you can apply to yourself to continue to grow. It's something that you can compound it over time. Understand that there's what really distinguishes leaders from followers is that leaders have the capacity to develop and improve their skills. The understanding that there's the 5 phases that you'll go through. The phase of leadership growth is that I don't know what I don't know. There's no growth yet. I know what I need to know. So now you understand that I do need to learn more about myself. I know what I don't know. Now I recognize my strengths and weaknesses. I know I grow, and now it starts to show. You're starting to see results for the areas that you've been focusing on. I simply go because of what I know is when you then become a level 5 leader, where you're now doing things instinctually, where things are almost automatic, you're on autopilot, and everything becomes reactionary. To understand it all, you have to lead tomorrow, you need to learn today. It's that process. It's ongoing. It's something you can persistently and consistently commit to. Understand that it's the law of process. If you can follow all of these, you'll understand how the law of process works and how you can apply it to yourself. Now we make a lot more of these videos for this training series to help you with your personal development goals. That's all for now though. So until next time, leave a comment below on what you like the most. I look forward to sharing more with you in the next episode of Harry's Highlights.